Welcome to our presentation. This presentation is about character design and development in terms of games. This is part of the course Fundamentals of Gameplay or Fundamentals of Game Design. We have one previous lecture that covered some topics. Now we will start from here, and before that, little bit of advertisement. This is just etc.net describing our software web development and training related services. This is just etc-hosting.com to sell domain and hosting services. This is just etc.org to sell electronics and computer related products. And this is computer.justetc.net to provide short notes and training videos on software development and IT. Okay, come here. Now, what are the goals of character design? I think our sole purpose of character design is to design characters or to create characters that people find appealing and enjoying, who fits well with the game world, with the gameplay, and also the players can associate themselves with the characters and they find the characters is harmonious with everything and makes sense. That is the goal of character design. As you can see that many games, they revolve around the characters, so the character design is very important. If the character is not designed well, the story will not run smoothly. The player will always feel that okay, the character does not match with the story, with the gameplay, so it has to be designed well. For different games like action games, adventure games, action adventure hybrid game, role-playing game, these games are usually the character centric. The main character, the player, his interaction defines the game. In a game, the player should find well-designed, well-defined characters to identify themselves with those characters, to like some characters, to care about some characters, and they should find some heroes to cheer about, some villains to hate. Also, in some based games, there are characters, those are neither heroes nor villains, they are some complex characters. In all of these cases, whether heroes or villains or bystanders, the characters need to be appealing. Appeal of the character is important. Not necessarily the character has to look beautiful, look nice, attractive in the so-called conventional sense, but everything has to fit together. As I always said, the character should fit with the game world, with the game actions. The player should like them. It should be harmonious. Sometimes there are disharmonious elements in the characters just to include some humor. Yeah, in some cases this can be okay. For example, in the Conquered series, the mouth is usually wider than normal. It was done just to introduce humor. You can design as well, as long as you do not exceed the limit and make it really funny or really unacceptable. And also you should assign a personality to the characters, and they should not break that character. They should always stick to that character. Sometimes the character may grow, but still it should maintain some uniformity. It should not change drastically. For example, an underground ghost, He should not feel sorry for orphans or for babies. It does not comply with his personality. And when you define the avatar character, you have some extra burden because the player will associate him with that particular avatar. So it needs to be well designed and well liked so that the player can associate him or feel free or feel good to associate him with the avatar. There are bad avatar design in the industry. For case in Fantasy 8, people did not like the player avatar. They found it too much obnoxious, and many players stopped playing the game just because of the avatar they did not like. I think characters are important because sometimes the customers, they associated the identity, they identify the games with their characters. They know the games by their characters. Many times the games are named after the characters, and many times as a marketing material the characters are used in books, movies, TV series, toys, t-shirts, characters from the games, characters from the movies. Even the villain should be appealing. What does it mean? The villain should look like villain. He should match with his personality. It should fit within the game world. He should match with his actions. Players should believe in them. Players should see whenever they see. They should know that this is the evil person. For example, Darth Vader in Star Wars. You can see him here. And if you go to this Wikipedia, you will know more about him. Now, relationship between the player and the avatar. I think in the game, the avatar, it works as the image or reflection of the player in the game. And in most action games and action adventure games provide only one avatar. The player associate with the avatar. In role-playing games, sometimes there may have multiple avatars or multiple, I think the player can take role, can use a different character as his avatar. But if there is a key character whose death leads to defeat the player's side, for example, then that particular key character is the player's avatar. And for when you design the avatar character, you should be careful because the avatar will be displayed most prominently, the most displayed character in the game. And also the animation for the avatar should be very smooth because he will need the most amount of animation. He will be present most of the time. So you should not annoy the player because it's him. Movement must be attractive because it's the player. So the avatar's movement, attitude, everything the player has to like. So you have some extra burden in designing the avatar. This is the avatar in the Tomb Raider. Now, player designed avatars. Most games predefine the avatar, but in some games, especially multiplayer role games, the game usually provides options so that the player can define his or her own avatar. The player can design the sex, body type, hair, eye color, strength, dexterity for the avatar. For example, Lord of the Rings have this feature. It actually also defines his characteristics, his personality in the game. In such cases, the designer, as a designer, you do not create the avatar by yourself. You can give some default avatar, but you will give the tools to create the avatar by the designer himself. The better control you give,